Let's see if we can use the DeepSeek R1 thinking model to generate a mesh gradient for SwiftUI. You can use the R1 thinking model at chat.deepseek.com. So over here, it also supports web search. If we turn that on, you can see there is no way to upload an image. So let's disable the web search. To generate the SwiftUI mesh gradient, we are going to use this image. So over here, we have a 3x3 mesh gradient. However, for the example we want to create, we want to generate a 5x5 mesh gradient. So we are going to use this image along with a prompt. So here we have the prompt, generate a SwiftUI mesh gradient from the attached image. Use a 5x5 mesh gradient. Let's also put the content in r1 mesh gradient.swift. So I'm going to select the prompt and copy it and go back to DeepSeek chat. I will paste the prompt here and also upload the image. Next, I'll send the prompt. So you have seen it has started going through all the thinking process. Then it has different alternatives to solve the problem. You can see there is an alternative here, also another alternative, and another one. So now it is going to generate the actual code. If I scroll up, you can see it went through a long chain of thought and different alternatives before it came out with the final answer that is generating the actual code. Over here, it uses the old SwiftUI preview, so we can copy the whole code. However, I'm going to select this part and copy everything without the preview. In Xcode, I have already created a file for this. You have seen here, we have the new preview, and this is the part we just copied. So I'll select everything and replace it. Then we can resume the preview. So it used the image to generate the SwiftUI mesh gradient. We had 3x3 mesh gradient, but over here we have 5x5 gradient. To generate the mesh gradient in SwiftUI, all you need to do is to use the mesh gradient view and define the size of the mesh gradient. In the image, we had the width to be 3 and the height to be 3. So that gives a 3x3 mesh gradient. However, we want more colors in this example. That is why we said we want a 5x5 mesh gradient. Next, we define the gradient points, which contains an array of points. So for the points, we have 1 up to 5. Next, we use an array to define the color for each point. So we can go ahead and change any of these colors to modify the colors of the mesh gradient. Also, it added a frame. Let's remove that so that we can have a full screen. I will also ignore the surface area so that the mesh gradient takes the entire width and height of the screen. So this is how you can generate a beautiful mesh gradient in SwiftUI using the DeepSeek R1 thinking model.